Tonight in a Target 8 investigation, we're looking deeper into a case of a man who was shot and killed by CPD officers in 2021.
Officers shot him 13 times, and 2 years later, his family is still looking for answers. You may remember back in November 2021, the Columbia Police Department responded to calls of a mass shooting outside of Vibes Lounge downtown. 2 officers shot and killed one suspect, Quaylen Jacobs. Police arrested another suspect, Todd Duran Nesbitt Jr., at his apartment later that day. Nesbitt is currently in the Boone County Jail serving a 4-year sentence. The shooting incident left 5 others injured.
Now tonight in this Target 8 investigation, we're taking a closer look at Jacob's death. We obtained new video showing how CPD officers violated the department's body camera policy when they responded. KMU8's Avery Grosvenor spoke to Jacob's family, who says police need tighter restrictions. Jacob's family gave us permission to show you the body camera footage, and we do want to warn you, the video is graphic.
This became one of the worst days of our life.
A family calling for change.
She put 10 in him after he was on the ground. You have something going on with you.
Quaylen Jacobs died in November of 2021 after police shot him 13 times outside of Vibes Lounge. Target 8 got body camera video from 3 officers on the scene of the shooting.
I need the shield. Stage medics, 1 down, several gunshot wounds.
Officers chased Jacobs into a nearby alley, opened fire, and continued to shoot even after Jacobs was on the ground.
Shield and trauma kit! We need a shield and a trauma kit!
The Missouri State Highway Patrol conducted a special investigation into the shooting, and Target 8 took a deeper look. Investigators interviewed 2 officers on the scene. Let's call them Officers A and B. Officer A said a verbal argument led to a shooting outside of Vibes Lounge. They said they saw Jacobs running away from the club after someone fired 10 to 15 gunshots.
I need 5th Street blocked.
Officer A says, quote, for some unknown reason, Jacobs fell face first to the ground. Officer A says they saw a gun on the ground after Jacobs fell. That's when Officer A says they started shooting, but wasn't sure how many times they fired their gun, saying in part, I think it was around 8. I wasn't counting. He stopped moving, and I stopped shooting.
Drop the gun or I will shoot again! Drop the gun or I'll shoot again!
Officer B says they responded to the shooting after finishing up an unrelated traffic stop nearby. Officer B says they stopped their patrol car when they heard 8 to 15 shots fired and saw Officer A running after Jacobs. MSHP's report says Officer B ran after Jacobs, following Officer A into an alley. Officer B then shot Jacobs at least 2 times. Investigators asked why Officer B shot Jacobs then, and the officer's response was, quote, I honestly can't say.
Roll him over! Cuff him up!
After Jacobs stopped moving, officers handcuffed him before assessing his injuries or checking for a pulse. One officer attempted CPR with no luck.
I'm gonna need a chest seal.
We learned officers A and B didn't activate their cameras in time based on CPD's own policy. During MSHP's investigation, Officer A said they tried to turn their body camera on, but only after they shot Jacobs. CPD requires on-duty officers to keep their body video and audio rolling during any interaction with the public.
Roll over on your belly now! You are under arrest!
But this footage from Officer A doesn't have audio leading up to the officer firing their weapon. Meanwhile, the body cam video we got from Officer B doesn't start until after Jacobs was shot. CPD confirms the cameras can capture video up to 30 seconds before being activated, but without audio.
Where's the shield?
MSHP's forensic investigators found no gunshot residue on Jacobs' hands. The lab results show a few reasons that could explain that. Either Jacobs didn't fire a weapon, he did fire a weapon, but gunshot residue wasn't deposited in detectable amounts, or the residue could have been wiped off. We requested an interview with CPD, but a spokesperson told Target 8 the department couldn't talk about this specific incident. But a special investigations commander with CPD says tactical response is complicated.
We're human beings. We forget things. If we forget to activate our body camera, or it's just a situation where there are so many more important things that we have to address than turning on our body camera.
Now without Jacobs, his family is fighting for systemic change in the policing system.
If you're a police officer, you should actually help the community instead of trying to see who you feel like is the bad person in the community or someone that you don't like.
Jacob's family is now scattered across state borders. His mom, Angela Gay, says she no longer feels safe here after losing her son.
You'd always be there to encourage someone and just make things better. And it's like, I can't call them no more.
Neither officer faces charges. And a year and a half later,
We love you, bro.
Jacob's family is still looking for answers.
Hold yourself accountable, especially y'all police. That's all I want y'all to do for the community.
A family in mourning, but still hoping to make a difference.
Target 8 looked into what solutions officials are creating to make sure police are following all body camera footage policies. In 2016, Missouri lawmakers introduced state legislation that can make it illegal for police to have any interaction with the public without having their body cameras on. But according to online records, those bills are not on the calendar for the current legislative session. In the studio, Avery Grosvenor, KOMU 8 News.